Working where
ship, a big
Star Wars, and it's
Put a turret on my ship. All this.
find
it's like
thing you'd expect
was
realize this now.
assaulted. I try to fight my
talking to the developers of Indiana.
I'd be a fool to say no to that.
My thought.
Gamescom is officially underway.
Let's raise the stakes, shall we?
Today we're checking out some of the biggest games of the year, including
Where is he?
Star Wars Outlaws, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle,
And who the are you?
Stalker 2, and more. Gamescom Studio live on IGN starts right now.
Watch me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Gamescom Studio Day 2. I'm Damon, this is Stella, and that's Max.
Welcome. As you can see, the Gamescom floor is now officially open for business, and we've got tons of awesome stuff lined up for today, from gameplay demos and interviews with devs right here on our stage in Hall 7, to all the stuff going on everywhere else in all the other halls.
Yeah, coming up very shortly, we're talking to the developers of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and then playing around with a replica of the Pip-Boy from Prime Video's Fallout series. Later on, we're going to see Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in action, as well as a look of some of the new content coming to Payday 3.
Before we get to all that, though, let's take a second to acknowledge that the biggest video game event on the planet also cares about the planet. Thanks to the Gamescom Goes Green initiative, Gamescom runs on 100% renewable energy. In addition to participating in Gamescom's carbon offset program, exhibitors are also doing their part by building more sustainably, reusing portions of their booths, and avoiding single-use material.
And even better, the Gamescom forest continues to grow, and more trees have been planted thanks to donations from attendees and exhibitors alike. You can find out more about Gamescom's sustainability efforts and find out how to do your part at gamescom.global.
We're going to check in on everyone's favorite fedora-wearing archaeologist in just a second, but first, let's check in with Ian, one of our intrepid reporters running around the Gamescom show floor. Hey!
I'm out on the show floor at Gamescom today, and it is absolutely bustling. But despite the name, Gamescom isn't just about the games, because I'm going to be checking out this Pip-Boy 3000 Mark V replica that is based on the exact one that Lucy wears on the TV show. I'm also going to be heading outside to chat to you lot who are still queuing up and waiting to play the games. Which games do you really want to play the most? I'll be finding out. Then later on, Max is going to be talking to the developers of Dune Awakening, and we've played Monster Hunter Wilds. What do we think of the game? You can find out later on. Plus, I talked to the developers of The Eternal Life of Goldman, which looks like the old NES game DuckTales mixed with an existential nightmare. Honestly, there's so much going on here at the show today, so let's go check it all out.
You're watching Gamescom 2024 right here on IGN. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle takes one of the most iconic movie heroes of all time and gives him his own globe-trotting video game adventure.
Here to tell us all about it are Axel Torvinius and Jens Andersen from Machine Games. Hey guys, welcome.
Hello.
Hey, thank you. Nice to be here.
Well, thanks for joining us.
So, comedy is a really important part of the Indiana Jones movies. Comedic timing in video games is not necessarily the easiest thing to nail. How did you guys manage to work that into the Great Circle?
There are several different ways how we try to implement that component, because as you say, it's a truly key beat to hit the tone of Indiana Jones and making sure that it has the correct vibe. It's also super important for us that it doesn't become comedy.
Right.
So it needs to just have the right amount of it to feel right. And there are several parts to it. One is, of course, within the narrative, how things are written in terms of cutscenes and dialogue and VO. And then performance by Troy Baker to make sure that that is delivered. But we also communicate that component in the smallest detail. It can be in the minute-to-minute gameplay, in hand-to-hand combat, in subtle animation, a lot of different small components that all together comes together balanced, and then feel the feel of that comedy is there.
Yeah, it's all about finding that tone, right? Finding a banjo in the world that you can smack people with, or things like that.
At the same time as the comedy, some of the most iconic, like most memorable moments from the classic Indiana Jones films are really horrifying, like really scary, like some of the most memorable moments in cinema, in fact. How do you approach horror in your game?
It's been a balance, to say, for sure, because we are really focusing on making sure that adventure comes first. But as you say, there's a sense of horror in there as well. So we've been trying to get moments throughout gameplay where it becomes a little bit creepier, it becomes a little bit eerie, and the game pauses a bit, slow down. But finding that balance between the cinematic big beats, set pieces, and then the horror components, that has been a tricky balance. But I think we're on a very good spot at the moment with hitting the balance right.
Did you find that you were sort of taking inspiration from elements from each of the films? Like, were there things in all of them where you said, like, we want a little bit of this from Temple of Doom, we want a little bit of this from Raiders?
Primarily, the main reference is Raiders of the Lost Ark. So that's the one we've been dissecting the most. But all three early movies are important reference to us.
I noticed the boulder from Raiders is back. Is this thing just stalking him for his entire life? How did that ball return?
I don't know what we're saying about that, actually.
Well, there's more of that to see when the game is out. So we have a little tease of it, but there are some familiar aspects in the game for sure.
All right. From some of the levels we've seen so far, some of them look really quite open. Are there numerous ways to complete your objectives? Like, can you talk about some of those?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The game in its whole is a mix between more linear section and more open-ended big areas. And in those open-ended areas, you can absolutely choose what missions to tackle, and there are also multiple ways to do that. Like, we have a lot of different options in terms of stealth, hand-to-hand combat, even gun combat, traversing around using your whip. So we try to do give the player agency to allow, like, what would Indy do here, and let you role play almost as Indiana Jones and try to accomplish the mission as you see fit.
Right.
Does that sort of speak to the larger philosophy of like replaying the game and stuff like that, giving people like the sort of the option of going back in a second time and maybe going, hey, I'm going to go this one a little more guns blazing or a little more stealth?
Well, actually for this game, because it's so open-ended, we're thinking about replayability a little bit different than, for example, the Wolfenstein titles. In this game, we allow you to go back and revisit previous areas to really explore all the content there is there and to 100% the game. And we have the journal, which is a key tool for this game, that you basically, it starts blank and you fill it out with your whole journey, your whole adventure goes in there, every photo that you take, every note that you find, and the idea is that when that's fully complete, that's when you've 100% of the game and see everything that game has to offer.
So when you say revisit areas, do you mean like travel back to an area or more like a chapter select?
It's more like a chapter select. There's a tweak to it. We allow you to bring back any abilities or equipment that you have unlocked. So it's kind of it's a narrative break in some ways, but it's really good for being able to explore and exhaust everything that there is into the game.
Oh no, go for it.
Oh, the game is at point very big, so there is plenty of opportunities for exploration, and that's something we constantly try to push the player to indulge in. And as you go along, you will find, oh, there are things that I maybe missed, there are things that I want to revisit, there are things that I want to explore more. So. And
it's really important as well because we leave a lot of content here as optional. Like the story is really, really important, and for the people who just want to explore that, the game is going to be shorter, but for the people who want to experience everything, there's a lot of things to explore, and it's a really big game.
You mentioned the sort of like unlocking abilities. I want to kind of tug on that a little bit because that sounds really cool to me. Indiana Jones is like, he's sort of the same guy through all of the movies, but in a video game that would get boring after a while. So tell me about these, like how he's learning more and adapting and learning new moves and stuff.
So throughout the game, you will find these adventure books. These are books that are in the world, like interesting books that each one of them contain an ability. And you can unlock that ability using adventure points. And adventure points is something you find by exploration, by completing mysteries and missions and finding these notes and filling out your journal. So it's almost like kind of a skill system, skill tree.
Awesome. Well, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle looks amazing. You guys announced a release date the other day, December 7th?
December 9th.
9th. I was trying to get there 2 days early. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you.
That segment went so well, I think it belongs in a museum. Thank you all so much for joining us. We can't wait for this game.
Stick around because we've got lots more Gamescom coverage ahead right here on IGN.
I noticed that you have an assortment of Vault-Tec equipment.
If you are a fan of the Fallout TV show, or even better, a Fallout cosplayer, Pip, boy, do I have an extra special thing to show you right now, because I'm here with Chris Bernardo from the Wand Company, who has created this amazing Pip-Boy 3000 Mark V replica based on the TV show that Lucy wears, right?
Absolutely. 100% based on it, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, it is modeled exactly on the one that Lucy wears, which is the male version, because although the front was the same, Lucy's arm was smaller, so she had a slightly narrower wrist.
Right.
So slightly bigger one of those. Except the one in the show has a phone behind it, which was what gives you the screen, whereas this one's all built in. There's a proper screen, everything working. You can adjust it. I mean, you can see at the moment we're looking at Vault Boy walking. We can adjust his. Let's do that gently. You can see him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, using the knob at the sides.
The animation's changing.
Yeah.
What kind of screen is it? It's nice and bright.
It is. Yeah, it's a color actually. Although we only show monochrome in this case, but it's an LCD.
And what kind of materials is it built out of? I know you got the LCD screen, but you want something solid to keep it safe.
Yeah, you do. So the whole of this front portion here is die cast in zinc.
Okay.
And then that's really lovely. The screen itself is made of this plastic called Tritan, which is a very glass-like plastic.
Yeah.
And then the back of it is made in ABS. If you'd made the whole thing in zinc, it would be much too heavy. But you can feel the weight of it anyway. It's got quite a weight.
There's the weight. Not too unmanageable.
Yeah, it's
nice.
It doesn't feel right, but you wouldn't want to have something as solid metal on.
Yeah, I'm quite an old school technology kind of person. I like big clicky clacky buttons and you know, things you can twist and turn the click.
Yeah.
Is there clicking style?
Oh, there is mechanisms here. This is so cool. So in the clock, if we want to set the clock, we'll go to maintenance.
Yeah.
We'll go down to set the clock.
I can see that kind of like a nice little.
Well, look at this. And here we go. You have tried.
Did you click in the button? Oh yeah, it's got a nice clad to the lever across.
Just try rolling it round. You see how?
Oh wow, yeah.
Beautiful. So
that feels great.
You'll see that the radio light also lights up a warm color as well. And by turning the radio here, or here, you tune it.
I mean, this is one of my favorite features, that you can actually tune into real FM radio.
Yeah, you can. So in here, in the big hall, that's like a great big microwave oven. I don't know if we'll be able to tune in so easily, but when you do, you get this is the waveform of the music.
The actual waveform from the signal. Amazing.
And you also have KPSS radio, and then if you press the button, we can't hear it again. It is phenomenally noisy in here, but what you get is DJ Carl,
amazing,
horrible little scratchy violins.
Now, obviously, the best thing about this replica is that it is a product that you can own. You can even pre-order it right now at store.ign.com, and it comes in this beautiful box as well.
Yeah, it's got actually a really nice packing box that goes around it. It's really lovely. Yeah.
So this really is the best thing a Fallout fan could own, and in fact, I really want to own it now as well. Can I give it a go?
I think so. I think you need to be in the kit, the outfit.
Okay, I can sort that out. All right, Chris, strap it on me.
Well, okay, you are, okay, yeah, absolutely.
There we go.
You're on
the moment of truth.
He's almost trembling with excitement.
I am. I feel like I'm part of the show already.
Here we go. Let's just clip it into place.
A nice big chunky click. And look at that. That weight feels great, actually. Now, I better be careful not to drop this one on the floor. Otherwise, it's going to be your vault.
Get it?
Yeah. Well, this feels great. This looks great. So, Fallout fans, remember to head on over to store.ign.com and place your pre-order right now.
IGN has the most thorough, easy to use, and high-tech maps out there. Period. And by high-tech, we mean it. We've recently added features like personal notes that save to your IGN account, and anything you check off on a map is tracked in the guide as well. It's the perfect system to get to 100%. IGN maps load faster with more markers than ever and are built for your phone as your constant companion to the biggest games. So start checking off markers for the game you are playing for free at IGN Maps today.
IGN Store has it all. From clothes and collectibles to vinyl records, accessories, model kits, and action figures from the biggest and best franchises like The Legend of Zelda, Star Wars, Fallout, Dungeons & Dragons, and more. Whatever your pop culture passion, you're guaranteed to find something you love. There are new and exciting products hitting the store every week, like the Wasteland-ready Fallout Vault 33 hoodie, which pairs perfectly with the working wearable Pip-Boy. Plus, high-quality IGN Store exclusives like the powerful